Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Suraya Anissa with name 21042092. On this occasion, I would like to present the results of an articularism in the Risk and Disaster Management course. With the lecturer is namely Mr. Ipermana, STMT. Okay, let's get straight to it. Mm, First, article title. The article title is Risk Management of Indirect Risks from Disaster, a multimodal and participatory governance framework applied to flood risk in Austria. Second, writer. The writer is Stephen Hochreiner Stigler, Gabriel Beckner, Nina Rajut, Sebastian Poletna, Karina Ritter, and Francesco Bosello. Third is publication year. The publication year of this article is 2024. Fourth, keywords. The keyword is indirect risks, risk management, multimodal approach, risk governance, natural disaster, Austria. Fifth, research purpose. This paper aims to shed light on these issues by proposing and empirically testing how risk management frameworks designed for direct risks can be extended to include indirect impacts as well. 6. Introduction. Most current disaster risk management approach primarily aim to reduce the direct impact of natural disasters. In most risk management strategies in countries, mitigation of indirect impacts is not explicitly addressed. Many challenges hinder its active integration, and one of the most prominent in the difficulty in assessing and modeling indirect impacts. As a result, management options to mitigate such indirect impacts are largely limited to the conceptual, e.g. using feedback loop diagrams, and general, example, providing broad-based indicators such as GDP per capita levels with almost not empirical application of framework that explicitly target indirect risks given this limitation. Our research seeks to provide a way forward by expanding existing risk management frameworks, originally designed for direct risks, to explicitly include indirect impacts framework focusing on indirect risk management in participatory process for the Austrian case. Seventh, research methods and framework. A. Framework. The research adopts a pragmatic approach and utilizes a framework whose emphasis was on multiple risks, including drug and flood, and its successful application in building risk management in the Austrian context. The methodology applied in the framework was developed through the extensive participation of key Austrian stakeholders and is based on IPCC related ideas, especially from Field et al. The research extends their methodology, which outlines different stages for the potential implementation of strategies against natural hazards by incorporating an indirect risk management dimension into each stage. In essence, they integrate direct and indirect risk governance framework revolves around four fundamental steps, namely Step 1, monitoring. Step 2, objective direct and indirect risk analysis. Step 3, integrate appraisal. And Step 4, implementation. B. Methodology applied. This research used further model-based quantitative analysis of direct and indirect risks by having three high-resolution statistical or economic modeling approach to assess indirect risks, namely general equilibrium models, agent-based models, and input-output models. These models were chosen because they are particularly appropriate for capturing the sectoral transmission and behavior of mechanisms linking direct and indirect disaster risks. Each of these approaches has advantages and limitations in representing specific dynamic during disaster events. Example, linear versus nonlinear. Timescales, example, from months to decade, as well as measures of rates, example, average versus quantiles. Research argue that a multimodal or even multi-approach perspective is essential for indirect risks. Due to complexity of the problem, different models are needed to explain different and specific aspects. Conversely, applying a single model may provide an incomplete or biased view of the system. The idea of multimodal assessment, often referred to as the toolbox approach, is closely related to the idea that complex systems typically produce a spectrum of outcomes, including balance, complexity, pattern, and randomness. These diverse results need to be addressed with different modeling approach to effectively navigate and complex dynamic at play. Okay, the next is the result of the article, which is the result have a first step, which is I explained before. Okay, yang number one, the current situation on leaf risk assessment and management. The first step of the researchers framework aims to assess the current situation regarding indirect risks, including stakeholders' risk perceptions, the instruments used to address indirect risks, and the data required to calibrate and simulate indirect risks after a hazard event. This was done by conducting a total of 26 stakeholders interviews and 3 workshops held from 2019 to 2022. During this interaction, stakeholders were asked, first, the extent to which they may be impacted by indirect risks and whether they think these indirect risks are or will be impact interest in their field of activity. Second, which instruments are, if any, are being or planned to be used to manage, define, and or measure indirect risks. And the third, what data they use to measure indirect risks and or determine the effectiveness of indirect flow risk management instrument. Based on these interviews, it can be seen that stakeholders show high awareness of the indirect damage because bioflux and the importance of managing it. Management of indirect damage received a higher priority from those involved in the prevention or recovery stage of flood risk management compared to those who's responding to the crisis. 2. Quantitative Step 2. Quantitative modeling of indirect impacts due to flooding. The researchers followed a risk-based approach in their analysis, which require risk-based estimates of flood events to apply the SELECT model. This estimate was carried out using a cupola approach, which allow analysis of large-scale hazard events on a national scale. Flood-affected assets are associated with high granularity, exposure, and hazard mapping, enabling the allocation of inundation damage at the company level, offering a level of detail that is unique in Austria. Ultimately, losses are determined for each economic sector according to the spatial distribution of capital held by non-financial, financial, and government entities. Different flood scenarios are considered taking into account even with different return periods and well as several consecutive events. The selection of scenarios includes 20, 200, and 2,000 years loss events, two consecutive events of varying intensity occurring at different points in the time, as well as for so-called Armageddon scenarios, where a fictional scenarios 3, 5, 17, or 13.4 of the 13.4% of the input-output models reveal potential barriers following an event, namely showing what items are needed for reconstructions. Therefore, input-output models can emphasize which sectors are affected, in what way, when, and for which hazard scenarios from a demand perspective. CGA analysis reveals that flood damage triggers distributional impacts at both sectoral and household levels. CGI analysis identifies significant distributional implication at the household level, with variation in the short and long term. In the short term, capital owner and high-income households are the one most affected by flooding. However, in the long term, low-income households tend to suffer more. This is due to change in price level and remuneration factors to their detriment, with lower wage and higher price of goods that are in high demand for low-income households. These findings underscore the importance of distributional impacts as an important indirect risks. Step 3. Integrated assessment through our participatory process. In this workshop, stakeholders were presented with a model of the impact of floods event. Next, the fidelity and feasibility of different management options are analyzed and overlaps are identified. An important point that emerged during the discussion was related to the expected increase in flood losses over time related to climate change, demographic change, and assets accumulation. Stakeholders recognize the need to adapt current mechanisms in terms of financial assistance and risk reduction. The process needs to be conducted more socially as research shows that long-term negative impacts are great on low-income households after, for example, temporary home flooding disaster. High-income households recover more quickly from the shock. By using quantitative model, further information regarding these issues can be obtained. One possibility to address this trend is to develop compensation schemes that take income levels into account. Another way is to reduce the shortage of skilled workers, especially in sectors that are relevant in the post-disaster period, for example, constructions and machinery production. And the step for the last implementation aspect. The final and fourth steps will consist to implementing indirect risk management. A development in this regard is that the indirect economic impact to flooding will play a more important role in cost-benefit analysis in the future. Currently, they are only described qualitative, which is a painstaking and slow process. According to officials from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, Regions and Tourism, this process may need to be automated so that the indirect economic impact is accounted for as marked-up factor. For example, through a fixed factor for each day of lost productions in the cost-benefit analysis. And the last conclusion, the conclusion from the article. Researchers present the possibility of extending the risk governance framework for disaster risks to the indirect risks and indicate an overlap with other system objectives that could provide many benefits at many scales. Researchers specifically emphasize system definition that focus on constraints and dependencies that are particularly useful for indirect risk management and integrations with existing direct risk related approach. The research application suggests that a variety of different dynamics must be assumed once the immediate risks materialize. Therefore, some modeling approaches are needed to manage possible indirect risks. We, un- we introduced three approach and very detailed macroeconomic results to outline the options and the multiple benefits that can be assumed for decision makers and how to manage these risks in a broader context. Okay, that's all for me. If I make a mistake or wrong, I apologize. Thank you for the attention. Thank you for attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye bye.